seeing the successes of this pilot, it's going to be easier for those teachers that perhaps were a little more invested in the former curriculum to hop on, because you can't argue with student engagement. You can't argue with outcomes and achievement. And I literally can say, and I've talked to the building principal, Jen and Kate, and I talked about this, our teachers are happier walking down the hall. When they come into the building, they come into the building with a smile on their face that are piloting this curriculum, because they are building high quality relationships with kids. Our kids are learning, our kids are engaged, and it's just easier to come to work every morning knowing that you have an awesome lesson plan for your students. I would say, to our staff's credit, they've been so excited and engaged with this pilot that they know and feel that it's going well, but I don't think they even realize how much of a difference they're making in student outcomes yet. I think that they realize that teaching is more fun. I think that they realize that their students are working harder, but I don't think they realize yet how much gains that their students are going to see as a result of this pilot.
The other thing that I've heard from principals, from coaches, from teachers that I think is really exciting is students who have maybe had some math avoidance behaviors in the past, right? Where math class was a really difficult time for them to focus and engage. They're not seeing those challenges this year because of the way the math instruction in the classroom has changed. And I know in schools they're really excited about that change for those kids.
Yeah, and it's a more inviting environment now, because there's so many aspects of Bridges that students can engage. I think of all the things they do in Number Corner between, like the carrots that are dehydrated, and the kids every day are like, I want to weigh the carrots today, I want to weigh the carrots. Or they're pouring water and the teachers are like, the water, and the kids are so excited about the water. And I even see the connections to science, like it's opening up that door where they can start, bringing in that interconnectedness of multiple subjects. The attitude in mathematics in classrooms has shifted to this positivity, where math is now fun, and kids, their faces light up. And when we walk in, I still remember going in October, one of our first visits, and the teacher would ask, "What's your favorite part of Bridges?" And they all would yell, "Workplaces," which is the game practice portion. And it's so, like, to hear the excitement and see them engaging in mathematics in such a positive light is just so fulfilling as an educator.
Whole grade in the 7th grade, we were looking at the STAR test. Citing text evidence was the strategy, or was the standard that I looked at. So where were they in the fall versus where are they now in their January winter screening? And as a grade, we've gone from a 52% of the kids at or above to 68%, which is 26 kids at this point. In one classroom alone, I believe she started with 66 kids out of 20 were at or above. And now she's at 16 at or above.
My advice would be take the time leading up to it. Make sure you know what you're looking for in new instructional resources. So we had our specifics. How are we going to do acceleration? How are we going to support EL students? How are we going to support all language learners? We talked about that before, and then we started looking at it, as opposed to looking at all of them and having no idea what we were looking for, and taking the time to do that.
Totally.
And I would say definitely you need to have a structure and a plan, but you've got to be comfortable with the messiness of going through it. Because if you are authentic about empowering the classroom teacher and the instructional coaches in an authentic process, it's going to be messy. So you have to have a plan and a structure that you can share out and say, this is kind of where we are on a roadmap, which I think we have.
Yes.
But we've been consistently responsive and flexible in trying to meet the needs as they arise.
Going into this process, we really wanted to figure out how we can close achievement gaps and get all kids at the same, I shouldn't say the same level, but get all kids to their grade level and have high quality standards for all kids. So going through this process, our teachers and everybody bought into, we need higher quality curriculum for all kids. And the curriculums that we've chosen are accessible by all kids, and yet at the same time are extremely rigorous, are high level standards, and just raise the bar across the board for all kids. It's for our most, even our GT kids have found that this is a challenging curriculum, but we've also found ways, and we scaffold to make the all of our kids able to access that curriculum. So having that guaranteed and viable curriculum that has grade level standards for all kids has raised the bar across the district, and all kids are achieving. We're seeing them achieving at higher levels, especially some of those lowest kids are making our greatest gains right at the moment. And as we continue to watch our data, we're hoping to see even more of that down the road.